Stop what you're doing right now and look at me. Get the shoes first. Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. Now get the headband. This shit is serious. Wow. I'm overloading Gucci. Oh my God. Listen, man. 2 G's back to back. What is that? Gucci. So guess what I am?
Gucci gang, 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 Gucci gang.
I never said I was gangster. I just said I'm in these streets and I let my nuts hang.
Difference between being gangster and stupid. Stupid.
Slay.
I let my nuts hang. I let my nuts hang. 100 niggas wanna get me. Are you gonna guarantee my safety? Undefeated. Undefeated.
What up, everybody in the YTBC? Big shout out to hashtag Come Back to Boxing, the A-Side boxing community, Boxing United, the MOBC, the LDBC, and anybody else that I may have forgotten. Now that I got all the preliminary shit out the way, I'm gonna go ahead and get into my real review of the Adrian Broner versus Jesse Vargas fight. Now, when I say real review, I'm not saying that anybody else's review is fake, but I'm going to give you the most honest review that I possibly can. It's going to be as unbiased as I can possibly give to you. I'm not friends with any fighters. I don't know any of these dudes personally, and chances are neither do you. So if you hear anything that I say that is critical of your fighter and you don't like it, just keep that in mind. All right? Whoever your favorite fighter is probably don't even know you exist, aside from some Twitter handle on the internet. But anyways, that being said, let me go ahead and get started. So first, you need to know that I'm not a Broner fan, but I'm also not a Vargas fan. So I really didn't have a dog in the fight. I think Broner is real childish, immature, doesn't take the sport serious enough. He's, in my eyes, a waste of talent, because every time he stepped up, he screwed around and ended up losing. Plus, he's very disrespectful. As far as Jesse Vargas is concerned, I'm not really too big on him either. I didn't like how he whined and complained about losing to Timothy Bradley, because just go watch the fight. He didn't do enough to win, and he thinks that he would have knocked out Timothy Bradley in the last 10 seconds of the round. I don't think that would have happened. There was some controversy with the ref in that fight, and honestly, that dude was too old. He shouldn't have been reffing. But either way, Jesse Vargas wouldn't have won that fight, in my opinion. So, about this fight, first I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I didn't like about the fight. First thing I didn't like about the fight is Adrian Broner. He was too inactive in the first half of the fight. You're a professional fighter. This is what you train to do for somewhere between 4 to 8 weeks, normally the latter. And this is what you come and you give us. You don't give your best foot forward. You just, I don't know what the hell you're doing, Adrian Broner. You really should do like 6'9" and let your nuts hang. Or, more appropriately, when we're talking about boxing, is let your hands go. So that's the first thing I didn't like about Adrian Broner, or about the fight. First, I'm going to focus on what Adrian Broner did that I didn't like, and then I'll move on to Jesse Vargas in a second. Then, the other thing I didn't like is the disrespect after the fight. Now, I understand you feel you won the fight. You feel that you did enough, and you're supposed to believe in yourself. So I don't really blame Adrian Broner for that. But all the ignorant statements talking about, first off, you're in New York, all right? There's no shortage of African Americans in New York, all right? But New York has everything. Blacks, Hispanics, whites, Arabs, Asians, you name it, they got it. That's why it's called a melting pot. But Adrian Broner is that much of a dumbass that he would say the stupid shit that he said, talking about most of these motherfuckers look like they're eating chicken and rice. Please. That's ridiculous. Don't nobody need to fight you in Ohio because you ain't the A side in most situations, in my opinion. You're equal at best, no matter who you fight. So, the next thing I didn't like was the weight. I don't understand why Adrian Broner feels that he needs to fight welterweights at 144 pounds, but it's bullshit. He's on his Canelo bullshit. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets caught with clenbuterol later on down the road. The difference is, Canelo actually wins his fights. That's the problem with Adrian Broner, is that he wants to be Mayweather and Canelo, but at the end of the day, he can't get the job done. Now, what I didn't like, the next thing I didn't like is Jesse Vargas. I think he gassed, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that this was at 144 pounds. Like I said, it's bullshit because Adrian Broner has fought at full-blown welterweight in the past. But at the end of the day, Jesse Vargas signed that dotted line. He agreed to fight at 144 pounds. And I think that he shouldn't have did that. And I didn't like that he did that because it ended up being a fight that could have been better had he not gassed. And Jesse Vargas normally doesn't gas. Like I said, he almost landed a knockout at the end of the 12th round against Timothy Bradley. Granted, he wasn't putting in nearly as much work as he did in the first half of this fight, that whole fight with Timothy Bradley. But I didn't like that he gassed halfway through the fight. I don't think he made good on his promise on this fight. I think in the beginning he was making good on it, but he lost his way along as the fight went on. So, the other thing I didn't like about Jesse Vargas is that he needed to exercise more defense. Maybe he should have did that a little bit more in the first half of the fight. And if he could have did that in a way where he wasn't exerting as much energy. I mean, you're going to exert energy either way because you're going to need energy to dodge punches and you know, keep your hands up and everything. More than throwing your hands. Throwing hands just uses more energy. But let me go ahead and talk about what I do like about the fight. It was a good fight. It was very entertaining. A lot of it due to Jesse Vargas. Adrian Broner did make it more entertaining in the second half of the fight. And I mean, I just think that Jesse Vargas in the first half, I feel like he felt very comfortable. He was very confident. He was smiling for a lot of the first half of the fight. You know, to me, it seemed like he was not quite, but borderline toying with Adrian Broner. Now, like I said, that's kind of a double-edged sword, because in doing that, he exerted more energy, and the whole second half of the fight, his body language read something completely different. He didn't seem very comfortable. But like I said, he seemed very comfortable the first half of the fight. What I liked is that Broner then looked very comfortable in the second half of the fight. He was definitely the fresher fighter for the whole second half of the fight. That's when he started, letting his hands go, or as 6ix9ine would say, let his nuts hang. And it made for an entertaining fight. Not Broner Maidana entertaining, but it was still pretty entertaining. And the last thing I liked about the fight is that the judges had it right. Now, I've seen people say that, Adrian Broner got robbed and that Jesse Vargas got robbed, and I don't feel that way at all. I think each dude did exactly the same amount of work, really. If anything, Jesse Vargas did a little bit more work because he threw more punches. But the fact of the matter is, he was very sloppy in his defense, in my opinion, and that kind of is a wash. So I don't feel either man did enough to win this fight. That one judge that had it for Broner, it is what it is, man. We know that sometimes these judges are in the fighters' pockets, or I should say the fighters are in their pockets. But or sometimes, they're just biased, or they legitimately felt that way. And they're, the fact of the matter is they had it close. So, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say, well, I don't know what fight they were watching, because they had it really close, but at the end of the day, I think a draw was exactly how this needed to be. I think ever since the Ward Kovalev fight, almost every fight is called a robbery. If it don't end in a knockout, it's being called a robbery by somebody. Whether there's a clear-cut win, or whether there's a winner that's declared, or it's a draw, it's always, oh, so-and-so got robbed. And here's the last thing I want to say is that when it comes to boxing, us, the fans, we need to be real with ourselves. Now, I'm not saying that you're not real if you said that one or the other got robbed. But here's just some food for thought. All right. If you have a draw, okay, and you feel that one of the guys won, but you can see how somebody can make an argument. And you have to be very open-minded and able to do this. But you're able to see how somebody can make an argument for the other guy winning. Then you should see no problem with the draw. Because when I think of robberies, I think of Garcia versus Herrera, where Herrera obviously won. I think of fights like Pascual versus Gonzalez, because I feel Gonzalez beat Pascual. And as a result, Pascual got a rematch with Kovalev. So I don't think that should have happened. If anybody should have got that fight, would have been Gonzalez. He would have lost, but that's just the way that I feel. But these are the fights that, when I think robbery, these are the fights that come to mind. Where you have a clear-cut winner. You can't make an argument for the other guy winning. But yet, the right guy didn't get his hand raised. Those are robberies. But it's like I said, ever since November of 2016, when Ward beat Kovalev the first time, every fight is being called a robbery, and it's unjustifiably. So I think us as fans, that's why it's very important that you try to be as objective as possible. Take all your feelings out of it. Take all your love for the fighter out of it. And just say, well, is there any argument that could be made the other way? I mean, at the very least, if it's a close fight, at least acknowledge that. Acknowledge that it was a close fight. And if your guy didn't win, or if it was a draw, you can say, you know what, I don't agree with with the judges, but it is what it is. And that's what I liked about Jesse Vargas in this fight. I think he really learned from what happened with Timothy Bradley when he said, well, I can't argue with the judges, because he tried that and he learned a very real lesson, is that he can't dispute the judges. I mean, actually, in that situation, he didn't really refute what the judges judged. He refuted the fact that the fight was ended prematurely due to the referee, which wasn't his fault. But at the end of the day, Jesse Vargas should have been doing what he felt he needed to do to win the fight, the whole fight. So, and that's the problem that Broner has as well. But tell me what y'all think. Do you think Broner won? Do you think Vargas won? Do you think a draw was the right call? But yeah, I think they had it right. But anyways, tell my subscribers, anybody watching my videos, or if you just so happen to stumble on this video, please have a wonderful, blessed day. Peace.
Undefeated.